Happy Friday. I'm Josh with Cable Management, and today we're going to discuss black mass. A lot of times I get asked, what is black mass, or why is there value in black mass? First, let's start with the term. Black mass refers to anything that is residual from shredding batteries that's black. So if you shred a battery, you end up with the outside casing, which is often steel, nickel-plated steel maybe, and then you have the aluminum inside, which is the cathode, and then the anode, which is the copper, and then there's a plastic separator that goes on the middle, and that's the most pain in the neck part of the whole process. And then you have the black mass. The black mass is coated onto the copper and coated onto the aluminum. The valuable part is on the cathode, which is the aluminum. That has the nickel, the cobalt, the manganese. This, we're talking about lithium-ion batteries. And then on the anode, which is the copper, you have the graphite. You might have some other things in there, but the most valuable part is on the aluminum side. So that powder, once everything gets shredded, that powder gets delaminated from those surfaces, and it ends up in your mixture. And then when you go over a screener or through a dryer or even through a filter press, you'll get these cakes of black material, which they call black mass. A lot of time and effort goes into making these videos, and the real goal is to get you guys as much information as possible. So if for some reason there's some information or some questions that are unanswered still, put them in the comments below. I'll try my best to answer every question. And if you want a quote on any of the equipment, the link is in the description below. Thank you. So why should you care about black mass? Well, for a few reasons. Number one, there's valuable material. So if you were to recycle your lithium-ion batteries, that black mass is going to get recycled. So if your batteries go somewhere to get recycled, they're going to recycle that black mass first and foremost. Copper and aluminum are secondary. Not everyone recycles those, but you really want to send your material to someone that recycles all the materials. The other thing is, it has a lot of critical materials that currently are being sourced from overseas. So the more of the black mass that gets recycled in the United States, the less we have dependence on foreign materials. So you might have a wire chopper, or you're already processing material, and you're wondering, hey, is it worth it for me to process batteries or to recycle batteries? The answer is yes. If, for example, you run an e-scrap facility and you're getting a lot of batteries from your own internal process, it probably makes sense to look into a very small system to handle your volume. We're working on something that's a little more compact that would be for those individuals, for someone that wants to process a smaller amount to make them at least safe for shipping. So that's something that's probably worth it. Now, if you're just a wire chopper and you get some batteries here and there, yes, definitely recycle them. But is it worth it setting up a system for batteries in your area? Probably not. It's probably best to partner up with someone that's already doing it, or someone that already has a home for those batteries. So as far as how far do we take it down the road for recycling? So what we do is we shred the battery. The battery needs to be shredded first and foremost, and it needs to be done in a safe environment to where it's not gonna catch on fire or explode. And then you want to separate the aluminum, the copper, and the black mass. Now, how far do you take the recycling process? We can take that aluminum and copper and we can densify it and separate those two streams. You get the black mass, which gets screened, and that's the easiest part, is to get the black mass. Everyone does that. Everyone that is recycling batteries at least gets the black mass part out. So now, how far do you take that black mass and separate that? We don't deal with that personally. We have companies that we work with where they're doing all the chemical separation of the metals, and that's more of a refining thing. So in the industry, a company you might recognize is Glencore. They're a huge company that does a lot of refining. That's a company that would do that kind of stuff. There's other big players that are emerging in the markets that are also setting up lines to be able to do that, and you're going to hear a lot more about those in the next few years. So you don't need to do that. You don't need to try and separate. You get black mass and that's it. You can send that out like that. There's another method that a few customers do where they're just dissolving. So like the graphite doesn't dissolve. So they'll dissolve everything in acid. They'll get everything into like an acid bath, and then they'll run everything through filter press. And then in their filter press, they only have the graphite. So they don't have all the other minerals. Those are all dissolved in the call it acid bath or whatever. And then they'll send that for further refining. So they're at least, they're concentrating it. But I really don't think that it's worth doing that. When you think about on a small scale, it's not worth it. On a big scale, it's a different story. So we talked a lot about different things with the black mass in this video. If there's anything that you want to add to the conversation, put it in the comments below, and we'll catch you in the next one. Happy Friday.